Hey, welcome back everybody. Thank you for joining me today for another live stream on Sunday morning. Today is an overcast day, not so nice over here, but I'm glad you guys are able to join me. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up because I'm trying out some new software today. And to be honest with you, I don't really know if it's working. It's a little bit awkward when you're trying to get things to work and you're trying them out for the first time. This software that I'm running today is something new I'm trying, just because I wanted to see whether or not it was going to be better than the software I was running before. So if you don't mind, please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay and you can see me and everything's not choppy. I see that there are some early risers in the house this morning. Always great to see you guys join the live stream. I hope everyone's doing great. Today I have my SE Zach Myers PRS semi-hollow body out. I haven't played this guitar in a while, so I figured I would dig it out. I'm a little bit low on my chair. Let me just adjust myself so you can see me properly. All right, that's better. So yeah, so I took out the PRS because I had neglected it for a while. It was in the case, and I took it out and played it. Really, it's a great guitar, one of my favorites. I actually get a lot of mileage out of this guitar, above and beyond what I get from my normal PRS American made, just because I find this one was a real good value. I bought this used and got it for a fraction of the cost that I would get it brand new. Beautiful body, and the reason why I wanted to actually play this guitar today is because I'm considering a guitar build. I'll tell you about it in a couple minutes, and I just wanted to get some inspiration out of this guitar. So let's see who's in the house. Good morning, guys. Finn and the Sharks. Good morning, Adrian. Nice to see you, buddy. Bruce. Good morning. Finn and the Sharks is a great name, by the way. I love that name. Cool Tunes Made Easy. Nice to see you, buddy. Vox Guitars rock. I was just waiting for you to come in. Fat Philosopher. Nice to see you as well. Good morning to everyone. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you're at. So I wanted to start off this show today. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in, and I find that sometimes we forget to show our appreciation and to talk about the personal side of things. And I really do appreciate everything that you guys do in terms of watching what I put out there, giving me some great comments and feedback, and just being a great bunch of guys that I really look forward to talking with during these live sessions. I wish it would be more of a verbal thing, but unfortunately it's got to be virtual, but that's okay. And you guys really do inspire me in the sense that you keep me going and always keep me thinking about what else I can produce in terms of videos that would that you guys would appreciate. That's really what it boils down to, right? And I really do enjoy doing what I do, and I do it for you guys as well as for me. But you guys make it possible, and I really do want to say thank you for being really dedicated viewers of the channel. I also wanted to say that I was actually watching, I don't know if you guys caught the Steve Vai has this thing where he's doing live broadcasts now, I guess because he's also in quarantine and he has some extra time on his hands. But I've been watching them, and they're called Alien Guitar Secrets. And thanks, Fat Philosopher. That's really nice of you to say, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, Alien Guitar Secrets has been something I've been following. Steve Vai has always been, he's way up there in terms of a player for me. And I could only strive to be as good as he is. He's very, he encourages me to keep trying at least. So basically, yeah, Fat Philosopher always makes me chuckle. Anyway, so the broadcasts that he's been doing lately have been really interesting because especially the one I watched yesterday, I think it was episode 5. If you haven't watched them or subscribed to them, I would really recommend that you do that because he opened up quite a bit yesterday when I was watching that episode. It was about an hour long, an hour and a half. And the interesting thing of that episode was he really was talking about more of an emotional side of things. And if you guys don't really know about Steve Vai, he struggled with depression throughout his career and a lot of issues like that. And yesterday's episode was really insightful for me because he really went deep and he was talking about how to, be able to get over certain challenges that you're faced with in life. And he always, correlated it back to music, I guess. But it was very interesting for me and eye-opening. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, we're all living challenges wherever we are, all over the world. Each one of us in our little, bubble, in our environment. And some of us are, on top of the game. Some of us are dealing with challenges. But at the end of the day, there's only two things that are certain. There's time. Time will pass. And you can only control your own personal perception of things. And at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is how you make other people feel and how you relate with other people. And we often forget that there's that human contact between us all. And at the end of the day, we're all living off of everybody's own, the energy that we put out there. And I really believe that we have the power to get over anything that we are challenged with, as long as what's up here is clicking. And as a famous person once said, it's all in the mind. So your perception is everything, really. And how you deal with other people is super important. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to making each other feel loved and feel good. That's what people remember. So, I just wanted to give that little message out to everybody today, just to start off the episode with my appreciation for you guys. So beyond that, I always start off the show with a question of the day, and I wanted to get some feedback from everyone. And one of the things that I figured I wanted to ask everyone today is, what would you like me to see? Like, what would you like me to produce on my channel for you guys? If you have something that you'd like to see specifically, if maybe I've done a video in the past where you'd want to get more information, or maybe a follow-up video, what would you like to see? And the reason I'm asking is because I have my own ideas, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you guys are interested in. So, if you guys can give me some pointers to what you are interested in, I would be more than happy to produce some videos based on that. Hey Clay, good morning. Corky Cat, how are you, man? Nice to see you in the house. I'll say hi to everybody as we go. Some names I can't even pronounce. But definitely want to say hi to everybody. Glad you guys are up so early in the morning so you can get a great fresh start in the day. So the software seems to be working okay. I'm evaluating the software just so I can maybe switch over. This software allows me to do other things where I can actually share my screen with you guys and show you videos and other things. For example, here I'm going to just try sharing my screen here so I can show you something very quickly here. Let's see if it allows me to do it and works. All right, so alrighty, you can see my desktop. Now can you see? There we go. Okay, here we are. So there's something I wanted to talk to you about, and so I figured now I can actually share it with you. So this, if you guys can see it, I don't know if you can or not, is the Mad Hatter Terminator system that I had ordered, and it still hasn't arrived. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's still at customs. It's taking forever to get here. The idea was I wanted to put in this system in one of my guitars and show you how it works. It's a really cool system in the sense that it comes with, I don't know if I could blow up the shot here. It comes with these pretty cool parts, and it allows you to install pickups and whatnot without necessarily having to solder them in. And the components are quite good. And I really do like systems like this because overall, whenever I'm trying to install pickups in a guitar, I often take them in, put them in, take them out and whatnot. And so at the end of the day, what ends up happening is that the components overheat and they basically wear down. So if any of you are interested in getting something like that, it definitely makes the whole process a lot easier. I've noticed that in one of my guitars, one of my Les Pauls, I swapped out the system for something similar to this, and it really worked well. It got me in and out of the guitar really fast, and I was able to avoid damaging the guitar, you know. So overall, things like that are pretty handy. I'm just really pissed off that it's taking forever to get the stuff. I guess definitely something that has been affecting the mail service is the COVID stuff. So hopefully that will come in soon. Greetings, Alan. How are you all the way from the UK? So let's see here. I'd like to be able to share some of the comments. All right, let's see if I can do this here. I'm still getting used to this whole thing, guys, so be patient with me. I really do appreciate your patience. I know there's ways of doing certain sharing of comments and whatnot on the screen. I just don't know how to do it yet. Oh, here we go. So let's see if this works. Oh, there we go. So Fat Philosopher says, I'd like to see an evaluation of the quality of various YouTube courses and books, such as Beato, Samurai Guitarist, Max Guitar. You know what? I'd like to do a video on that and maybe blend it with reviews of online lessons, online places that are offering online guitar courses. I've been evaluating a few on my own, and I just for my own research, and so far they're all they're good at certain things, but they're not good at everything. So if you're looking for an all-around place to learn lessons, to learn guitar, you know, it's kind of difficult at times, because if you're looking for theory, there's certain sites that really go deep in the theory side of things, yet they don't really have everything. So if you're planning on going in like as a beginner and sticking with it, and then getting a good mix of lessons, techniques, theory, and all that kind of stuff, sometimes it's challenging. But yeah, that's a good idea, Fat Philosopher. I'll definitely take note of that. And how about a video detailing the differences between types of tuners? Locking, non-locking. Love all your videos. Thank you, man. As far as tuners go, I can give you some insight on that right now. A lot of people have the misconception about, you know, like locking tuners are better in a certain sense because you won't go out of tune. That's not necessarily true. You know, people think that getting locking tuners is kind of like getting putting a Floyd with a locking nut on your guitar, and it's not really true. The locking tuners are great in the sense that if you want to get strings on your guitar quickly, not have to wrap the strings around the actual tuner a bunch of times, you just push it through, you lock it down, snip off the end, and you're good to go. That's the advantage of using some of these locking tuners. And hopefully a lot of them do provide better stability, but in actual reality, in actual fact, you know, I like locking tuners because they're quick, but one thing that I don't really like about locking tuners, especially if you work on your guitars a lot, is that when you pass the strings through the post, you snip it. Let's say you want to work on your guitar and you have to, for some reason, get to the fretboard. You can't simply loosen the strings to get the strings off the fretboard. You have to actually remove them. And since there's only like a little bit of the end of the guitar string that is actually hanging on, if that gets damaged, if you tighten and loosen that a few times, it doesn't grip anymore, and basically you have to change your strings. So for somebody who likes to work on guitars a lot like I do, I'm constantly tweaking and adjusting them, there's a disadvantage to those tuners. So it all depends on what you're looking for, right? Good morning, Randy. How are you doing, man? Nice to see you, buddy. Excuse me. So a full guitar collection video would take a while. I'd love to do that. Maybe I could break it down into chunks, so I can do, let's say, a video on all the Strats, a video on all the Telecasters, a video on all the, I guess, the Les Pauls, you know, the different styles of guitars. That would be cool. I could definitely do that. Maybe I can give you some insight on what I like about each one of those guitars, and I can justify having them, I guess. So that's a cool idea. Definitely something that I can do for you guys. Customs is definitely backlogged right now, and I think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of YouTubers are kind of sitting on their hands right now, just waiting for stuff to come in, and just you know, trying to delay and figure out what else we definitely want to review for you guys. Unfortunately, we're at the mercy of the system. So if the system is quite slow, we're kind of stuck with that. So can I do a Les Paul guitar build? I'd love to do that, actually. So here's the thing. You actually read my mind. I ordered. I'm getting bored, guys. Okay, so like there's a lot of time that I have on my hands. I know I could spend my time doing other things, but I'm really bored. So I figured the guitar build I did, well, the guitar mod I did for my son is coming along nicely. It's almost done. I actually installed the water slide decals that I received from Uncle Nerky. Thanks once again to Uncle Nerky's Decals. If you guys are looking for any good decals, you can always reach out to him. So I installed those decals. I'm basically in the process of spraying the headstock now to bury the water slide decal in the layers of finish, and then I could basically sand it and buff it, and we're good to go. So once that's done and that's put together again, there goes that project, and I hand it over to my son, and I gotta figure out something else to do. So I actually read Finn and the Shark's mind. I guess we're on the same wavelength, you and I, because I actually ordered this, and I'll share with you guys here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me try to get it in the shot here. So I ordered this, which is a 335 style guitar kit. And I don't know if you can see that here. Let me try to zoom in on everything so you can maybe get a... I don't know if I could actually zoom in on it. I don't think I can. Well, anyways, it's a 335 kit. This is from doityourselfguitarkits.net. And I thought it would be a cool thing to try. So it basically comes with everything you need. I'm not sure about the quality of the kit yet. It's the first time I actually order a kit like this. But I figured I'd try it out and be able to see what the results are of this build. I love semi-hollow body guitars, and I figured this would be a good way of starting to. I've never assembled a 335 set neck guitar. Usually I work on bolt-ons and stuff like that, but this one is pretty cool. Has everything you need, and has a little catalog also explaining how to go about it. Comes with all the parts. So I'm curious, and I figured this would be a good, something interesting to offer you guys in terms of, people who are interested in watching me assemble guitars. So to answer your question, Finn, that's coming up. So as soon as it arrives, hopefully it'll arrive soon. That's something that we can share and work on together as a group. Let's see what else you guys are suggesting that I do. Does anyone know about Eddie Van Halen? Well, not recently. In the past, I have definitely posted a video talking about Eddie's health and the fact that he seemed to be not doing well for a while there. We all know that he is doing some sort of treatments, but he's been very hush-hush about what's going on. So he's never come out and made an official announcement on that. But hopefully he's doing well. I really do hope that whatever he's dealing with right now, he pulls through. And he's been an inspiration to us all, and it would be terrible to lose him. I think he's got a lot of good years left in him, and he can definitely show us a few more things. So that's all I know. If anybody else has any news, let us know. Hi, Philip. Nice to see you, buddy. How you doing? You guys are talking about playing. I see you guys are discussing a couple of things and level of playability and where you're at, and having good lessons. To answer this question, learning, I'm glad that this question was asked because I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I had videos in the past where I was talking about ways or tricks that I've learned to basically use while you're trying to learn the instrument. And everybody has a different path when it comes to learning how to play the guitar. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for someone else. There's people that catch on pretty quick, others that don't. People that have a really good dexterity in their hands, really good ear. Others, have more of a challenge in terms of, listening to the tones, being able to pick out the tones by ear. But what I've learned in the past when you're dealing with learning how to play guitar, I wanted to share some of these tips with you today because I think we can all benefit from tips to help us advance our playing. And I'm not an expert. I mean, I have a lot to learn. I'm not the best player, but I try, Are there better players than me? Definitely. More skilled, more talented, definitely. But I try to do what I can. I consider myself a hacker, but, whatever. It is what it is. I'm trying to learn every day, trying to advance my skills every day. And some of the stuff that I've learned that I want to share with you that have really made a difference, for me at least, is the following. If you're trying to learn how to play guitar and you're starting, Guitar 101 basically, first of all, learn your fretboard. Learn all the notes on your fretboard. I think you really can't do without that. You have to know where you are, which notes you're playing, because it all basically starts from there. So that's number one. The things that have helped me greatly is also, once you learn your fretboard notes, learn the pentatonic scales, learn the shapes of the pentatonics and how to link them together. You can download these sheets. I think I printed one for my son over here. Something like this. I don't know if you can see this here. You can get this off the internet. It's basically the pentatonics, A minor, in the different positions, the 5 different positions. Not only do you memorize the positions, but you learn how to link them when you're playing. That is super important if you want to learn how to improvise, okay? It's not the only way, but it's definitely a start. Then beyond that, playing with a drummer, a click, metronome, a band, any way of playing where you actually have time being played behind you. So it's a lot of us practice without any influence of time. So we just basically noodle, you just play your guitar, whatever. But there's no click track. You definitely have to learn how to play in time, and that's key to be able to play in the pocket. And the only way you can do that is either to play with a drummer, a metronome, something, a drum machine, whatever you have available to yourself. Even if you're just playing with a backing track, as long as there's drums, you need to play with something like that. And the biggest improvement I made was when I started playing with other people, because it forces you to listen and tastefully interject your element into the band situation without being overpowering or playing just for the sake of playing, but being able to play for the song. A lot of people play guitar and they just take over. It's like, you give them the ability to play and they're just louder than everyone and going on forever and not listening to the music and not being able to know when to stop or when it's tasteful, when enough is enough. So that is super important to learn, and that's just common decency and tastefulness when you're playing. And you can't really learn that from lessons. You have to kind of experience that. And one of the other huge aspects for me was actually listening to myself. When I started to make videos, especially, and I started to play and do like reviews and stuff like that, and you're forced to record yourself and to watch yourself play, you really realize where your weaknesses are. It's very easy to spot them. And being able to record yourself is a great tool, because you can really, without much effort, spot where you need to actually do more work, whether it's your timing, whether it's the phrasing, whether it's just your picking. There's a lot of different aspects that you can hear and pick out when you listen to yourself. It's almost like when you record your voice for the first time and you realize how weird you sound to yourself. It's that kind of experience when you're recording yourself playing. So I highly recommend, if you have the ability to record yourself, even if it's just with your phone, do that. Definitely a great place to start. Then something else that I've learned is also the bends. So everybody bends when they're playing, right? It's kind of difficult sometimes to play without bending the string. But the key is to bend the note and hit the right following note, right? If you're bending up, I notice that, and I do it too sometimes you overshoot the note, or you don't bend quite enough and it's flat. And really just practicing that little nuance will make a big difference in your playing overall. It really does. And it helps tremendously. And then your ear gets used to knowing where the note is that you need to hit. And it's super important because it really does affect the tonality of what you're playing when you're playing with other people. Other things that I've also learned is when you're playing, the phrasing is super important as well. So let's say you're playing a lead, a phrase, whatever. A lot of people end up going on and on. They just play and play and play and play and don't take a pause. And what I realize is that for music to be interesting, it's the space between what you're playing is just as important as what you're playing. So I like to use the analogy of breathing. When you're talking and you're having a conversation, if somebody was talking on and wasn't pausing and was just keeping on talking and didn't have the ability to interject and leave any kind of space like what I'm doing now, it doesn't give you time to take in the information and be able to make heads or tails of it. And it's like having a conversation. You really want to be able to play, pause, play, pause. And one way of doing that easily is try to match up your playing with your breathing. So for example, as you're breathing in, for example, play. As you're breathing out, give it a little pause. As you're breathing in, continue playing. As you're breathing out, pause. And it makes the music a lot more interesting, I find, if you can put in those pauses while you're playing. And there's so many other tips that I want to share with you guys. I don't want to go on and on because then it's going to be a little boring, but maybe I'll make another video just on those tips for you guys, for the people that are interesting. The other thing is definitely, if you're spending your time learning just tabs, like Fat Philosopher has mentioned, you're limiting yourself in a certain sense because there's so much more to learn in music. And tabs are great because they can get you started. A lot of tabs are wrong, so it's important to be able to tell which ones are right, which ones are wrong. But one of the things is definitely learn theory because it opens up so many doors, and you don't really realize what you don't know till you start learning theory, and then you realize how much there is to learn. But then the cool thing about learning theory is that everything comes together. At a certain point, if you have a good teacher that can actually show you how theory works and really give you the building blocks, it's really cool because then you realize how everything is basically connected. The scales are connected to the chords. The chords are connected to the foundations of building a song. Improvising is built on the chords and the scales related to a song as well, and it opens up everything in terms of chord inversions, modes, and different aspects of building songs. And then being able to play out of the box and then come back in and know where you are within the song, and even just being able to figure out what you can play and what you can't play based on the key of the song, right? The key establishes what notes are in the song, what notes build the scale. Then from there, what chords are related to scale tones and what can be played, and you can basically find yourself a lot easier within music. So really, theory is like putting on glasses when you're short-sighted, nearsighted. It really opens up everything. So to answer this question, the NUX or the NUX looper There's a better one that I'm going to be trying out, actually. It's I'm waiting for it to come, actually. It's a new version of their looper, and it looks like it's actually better than the one I reviewed previously. So stay tuned for that. I'll give you a video review as soon as I can. But it definitely looks cool. Has a lot of similar features, has a built-in drum machine, but the overall looper functionality of it seems a lot easier to use. So that should be interesting. I haven't considered getting the Harley Benton guitar kit because I just feel like I've been overdoing the Harley Benton bit. There's a lot of... I've been talking about Harley Benton a lot. I know it's popular right now. Everybody's interested. I might consider the build. I'd actually like to build a junior, like a double cut or a single cut junior style guitar. And if it all works out, maybe I will end up getting a kit from them. Who knows? The worst thing about the 335 is basically putting in pots into the guitar and just being able to work in this little space. And like I always joke, I know why they call them F-holes now, because you freaking swear every time you got to try and squeeze everything in and be able to pull out all of the electronics here without ripping apart the connections that you work so hard soldering. Not the easiest system to work with. I got to agree with you there. So Rick Beato has a good book available on his channel. He's really an encyclopedia of knowledge. The guy really knows his stuff. And I've looked at his information and I looked at some reviews on it. And I guess there's a lot of information you can get from his book, but I don't know how easy it is to follow. The guy's pretty advanced. So it depends on your level of guitar knowledge, I guess. Hey Al, nice to see you from New Jersey, man. Any additional feedback on the Ampero? Well, I'm still liking it. I have it here by my side on my desk. I was just playing with it yesterday and this morning. I'm actually plugged into it right now, but it's kind of low. I don't know if you can actually even hear it. Sorry you can't really see me playing. I'm kind of... Let me see if I can tilt it down a little bit, maybe. It's better. See, I overshot that bend. Oh man, I'm playing shit today. I'm a little bit rusty this morning. My fingers haven't woken up yet. But the Ampere is a great little device. I'm loving it. I think there's going to be updates coming out for it as well. So I'm hoping to see them putting in some things that a lot of people have requested for them to put in. I'm going to be doing, for those of you that are interested, I'm going to be doing a review specifically on some websites where you can use to learn guitar. So I think that's going to be interesting. I'm just doing research on it right now, and I just want to be able to prepare the information so I don't give you false information, all right? I agree with Bruce. He says that set necks are fine as long as you're willing to put in a lot of time. There's no other way of doing it, Bruce. When you're putting a guitar together, regardless, you're going to be spending a lot of time. The guitar kits, you know, they seem like good deals at the beginning because they're inexpensive. But by the time you factor in your own personal time, the equipment you need, tools you need, finishing, sanding, painting. It really is a lot of time, and at the end you don't know if you're going to come out with a good guitar. So I'm not really doing it because I necessarily want to have a good guitar at the end of it. I'm hoping to end up with a cool guitar, but I think that the idea is really to keep me busy and allow me to learn a few things along the way. I've done builds before, but like I said, I've never done a set neck, and I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I'm going to take you on the journey so you guys can actually experience it as we go. And actually, I need your feedback, guys. I'm considering going with this color, or trying to get something like this color. I've experimented with tints before, and it's not the easiest thing to do, especially this particular color, the turquoise, but it'd be interesting to try. What do you think? You know, typically when you think 335, you think red, but I already have 2 red ones, so I wanted to try something a little bit different, make it unique. What do you guys think of that? Let me know. Hey Ed, how's it going, man? So he got the Mosky M pedal and mini screamer this week. I'm curious, tell me which ones, when you get an opportunity to try them out, maybe drop me an email or give me a comment on the video. Let me know which one you prefer. I was considering also looking at a screamer type pedal, but I just didn't pull the trigger on that yet. The Plexi sounds good though. I really do like it. Getting a good finish on a guitar like that is really a lot of work, because believe it or not, you have to use dyes to be able to achieve that color. And the dyes that I use are actually leather dyes. They're designed to dye leather, and you can get them in different colors. And to be able to get a color that blends out like this, it's really a couple of different ways of doing it. You basically put down a black base and you sand that down, and then that'll bring out the flame if the wood actually has any flame. Like if it's maple, there probably won't be that much flame, but that'll bring out whatever grain there is. And then on top of that, you apply the color, like the turquoise or the red or whatever you want to do, and then you have to sand it back, do it a couple of times and build it up, and then apply the sanding sealer, then apply the finishes. There's a lot of sanding involved, I guarantee you that. So if you don't like sanding, you're definitely not going to like working on your own guitar. I've done one in the past. You guys can check out my video, the red Telecaster body that I did. I put a video on that as well. Came out pretty good. I ended up selling it though. Adrian likes my background, my Eddie Van Halen background screen. Corky Cat says that the turquoise burst is lovely, and he's looking at the Schecter Telecaster with that colorway. There's so many different colors. There's certain, at one point they came out with a color similar to this. They called it blue jeans. It was kind of blue, like a faded blue jean look, which was actually pretty cool as well. I haven't really decided yet. I might change my mind. I might come out with something else. I don't think I want to go with a solid color though, because I don't know. It's just, I like to see the grain of the wood. Higher end guitars always show you the grain, you know, and that's what I want to try and achieve. It will probably end up being lighter because the turquoise dye doesn't really absorb well in wood. So it will probably be a lot lighter than that from my experience. It's a real worry though when you do something for the first time, especially guitar finishes, because if you mess up, you basically have to sand it down and start all over again. If you're trying to buy a kit to save money, then it really is not going to be the best way of doing it, because like I said, you don't know what you're going to end up with at the end of it, and you might just be spending a lot of money for nothing. For me, it's really a learning experience. I like working on guitar, so it teaches me a lot. I agree with the with this comment, because a lot of times the kits that are sold, they give you crappy hardware. Tuners are not really good most of the time. The electronics are generally not good, so you're paying a little bit extra for stuff that you might not use anyway. I guess you can always use them for extra parts or sell them. But if you're gonna get serious and the guitar is actually turning out nicely, you might want to consider upgrading that part of the guitar if it's a keeper. The lick of the day stuff, I still need to catch up with that as well. Song of the week. The thing is, the song of the week is, how do you do song of the week when YouTube demonetizes everything? I'd love to. At the beginning, I used to do videos showing people how to play certain songs, and they were very popular, but then they all got demonetized, so I can't really... It's hard to show somebody a song when you can't play songs. I know, it's kind of weird, right? The Santana guitars are really good. The SEs are fantastic. These guitars, I mean, really don't hesitate to buy one, especially if you can get one used. They're solid guitars. The only thing I changed, well, the only thing, two things I changed on this guitar. Was it 2 or 3? Actually, I don't even remember at this point. Yeah, I think it was 3. What I changed on this guitar was the knobs. The original knobs are clear, and I didn't really like the clear thing. They looked like, they reminded me of stripper heels. The other thing was the pickups here. I took the original pickups out, which weren't bad, but I replaced them with Sanford magnetic low output pickups. And I think it really is a better blend for this guitar. And I also changed the nut that was in here. I just put in a different nut. It looks similar to what was in there originally, but it's actually slightly different. Overall, great guitars. But those are things that I would probably change on any guitar. So that's the best way of approaching a guitar build. If it's built from, if you're trying to emulate another type of guitar, like, in my case, I'm trying to build something that looks like a 335. If you're trying to build something that looks like a Strat or a Telecaster, it always looks a little bit off, because if you're trying to emulate it exactly, you can never really get it exactly, and then it looks kind of weird. But if you build a guitar and you make it your own, then it's cool. Whatever you do to it, it looks okay, because there's nothing like it, right? They can't compare it to anything. When it comes to Wormouth parts and stuff like that, they are super expensive, but they're well-made parts. You're not going to save money with Wormouth, but if you build a guitar with Wormouth parts, you will be able to sell the parts for practically what you paid them. They hold their value. a lot. People are looking for Warmoth bodies and necks. If you look on eBay, for example, you'll see that the prices are they hold their value. Whereas if you build a guitar from regular parts, you're basically not going to get anything for it if you try and sell it. You when you're building the guitar, the setup is a big final part in the process. If you if you don't set up the guitar the way it needs to be, it's basically a heap of junk. So you put in a lot of time and effort to make it look good, and at the end of the day, you're not really going to be enjoying how it plays or sounds. And it's really critical with a guitar build that you get everything aligned properly. I'm really worried with kits because sometimes, the neck pocket, for example, in a set neck is really critical. You definitely want to have the neck set properly. You don't want to have the angle too steep, otherwise your bridge has to be jacked up. There's a certain tolerance there that you want to try and maintain. And if the guitar is not cut and fitted properly, there's a lot of stuff you need to do. You need to shim, you need to sand or plane, and a lot of stuff that can go wrong. So we'll see once I get the kit. I'll do a review. I realize that building an inexpensive kit is going to be a real challenge, but like I said, that's the whole point. I'm buying this kit so I can actually work on a guitar. I like working on guitars. I like setting them up and everything like that. So the idea behind this is to end up using it as, let's say, a learning tool. And I don't really mind if at the end of the day the guitar doesn't come out the way I want it to be. It's really a question of learning how to actually do it. I don't know if I agree with that, Bruce. I mean, yeah, the idea is to build it for yourself for sure. The idea behind taking parts from Warmoth is really getting things specifically to what you want them to be in terms of specs. The cool thing about Warmoth is that they'll build it the way you want it. So if you want a neck with certain profile, a certain board on it, certain types of frets, whatever, you can definitely get them to do it for you. You'll pay it, but you're going to get the specs that you need. Same with the body, routing, tops, woods, finishes. You can basically build it from scratch. So if you're looking for a specific set of characteristics, then that's really the only way to do it. Does it hold its resale value? Again, my opinion on that is that they actually do. If you look on eBay and you type in Warmoth neck, Warmoth body, you'll see how expensive they are. They're not giving them away, so you might not be able to sell them for more, but you probably, if you part out your guitar, you'll be able to get your money back. That's my experience anyways. If you have experience building guitars, definitely would be a cool thing. I was considering doing the pinstriping as well. This is my idea. If the staining doesn't come out properly, and I botch it up, okay, what I'm thinking about doing is at that point go with something like the pinstripes and do something pretty simple in a solid color. So I could basically cover everything that I messed up, do a solid color, maybe semi-sparkle with some flat lines or something like that. Make it, yeah, like kind of a Billy Gibbons style guitar. If you end up working on one, let me know. Maybe we can work on them in parallel and compare notes. So how come you changed your mind? I thought it was a done deal, Fat Philosopher. I thought you would be able to pull the trigger on that one. Like I said, it's always very difficult to make a buying decision unless you end up trying the guitars for yourself. So I think you made the right decision. If it didn't feel right, then it's not right. Just be patient, and something will come up that is meant to be. Like I always like to say, for me, the guitars that I have chose me, because sometimes I'll look at a guitar and there'll be something about it that I want, that I feel interested in, and I'm just like, I sleep on it and I'm like, forget it. And, you know, for some reason they don't get sold. And then after, you know, it just works out. I end up getting the deal, or I end up getting the deal at a better price than I expected, and loving the guitars. So I think if it's meant to be, it is meant to be. A lot of people are asking me about these Eastman guitars. I've been trying to get one, and the thing about Eastman guitars, they don't really respond very quickly. I'll pull up a picture so other people will know what we're talking about here. Here we go. So Eastman guitars, very good quality instruments. Definitely something that you should look at if you're considering a cool guitar. Good quality in terms of fit and finish and choices. If you look at their electric guitars here, you'll see that they have arch top guitars, thin line, and solid body guitars. I think a lot of people are interested in their solid body versions. This one is pretty cool as well if you're interested in the junior style guitars. Really nice. They're not giving them away though, but the quality is great. I like these headstocks. They also have the nitrocellulose versions as well. If you're looking at something that, you know, like a Gibson Les Paul style guitar, this is pretty cool. But you can see it's $2,548 Canadian. Is it better than a Gibson? I really don't know. I haven't tried them. But I've heard great things about them. You can see by the specs, you know, they're using Goto tuners, they're using Goto bridges, nice beautiful inlays as well, bone nut, ebony fingerboard, you know, CTS pots, orange drop capacitors, switchcraft switches and tips. So they look pretty nice, don't they? So I don't know. I mean, I'd love to try one. I hear great things. They're still cheaper than the Gibsons. Will they hold the value? I don't know. That's something I can't really answer. Godin is also a good option. They make good quality guitars. They're here in my country. They're in Canada. They're actually not far. I don't own a Godin guitar, but there's some really nice ones. They have a nice one that looks like a Gretsch. That is pretty cool. I don't know if I can find it for you. Let me just put my guitar down for a second because it's hard for me to type when I have this in my hands. I'm going to try to find the one that I was looking at, the Godin stuff. There's a lot of great stuff that they do have, and they're built very well. They also came out with some really cool Telecasters as well, in case you haven't seen those. The Telecasters, let me just get this off. Let's see if I can find them here. Solid body electrics. Yeah, so the Telecasters, these are the Telecaster guitars, and you can see, I don't know if you can see that, not exactly the Telecaster profile, but they have like the baked maple, they have the, they did something really funny with the switch plate. They switched it the other way around. They put the switch closer to the player at an angle. That's the only part of this guitar I don't really like. The switch plate looks really long for some reason. It looks a little bit odd. It's at $749 Canadian, so it's not that expensive. And they do have other models. If you look at the back, they have the tummy tuck, and you can see they're doing like the Sir thing. They're kind of giving the contour over here. And are they using locking tuners? I think they are. Let me see if I could zoom in on that. My zoom doesn't want to work here. I can't really tell. They look like they're locking. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that's not the guitar I wanted to show you. The guitar I wanted to show you is this one. If I can find it. Yeah, here we go. This one here. So these are the guitars that remind me a lot of Gretsch guitars. For some of you that are looking at that style of guitar, pretty nice. And $1,700 is not cheap, but it looks like a pretty cool looking guitar. So yeah, there's a lot of options if you're looking at, if you're considering getting Godin guitars. I don't think I don't want to try a swirl. First of all, I find them dated. It's kind of a trend that's passed. And although it'd be cool to do a swirl on a 335, I don't think the guitar would survive. You can't really swirl a 335 because the water would get into the body and it would just destroy everything. So yeah, you can't really do that. Porter pickups. I like Porter pickups. I've done reviews on them. You've seen them, hopefully. If you haven't, check out my videos. They make really great stuff. They make some cool guitars as well. I did a review on one of their guitars as well. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about Porter pickups. Really, you can find whatever you need. They have a lot of variety in terms of different styles of pickups as well. So Fat Philosopher says he ordered the Sahana. So let's have a look, guys. What's the Sahana? I'm not even familiar with it. Let me see. Which one did you order? Is there a specific model? Let's take a look. So this is the Sahana website. Let's go to the guitars. So which one is it? They have some nice looking guitars. This one actually looks a lot like a PRS. And only $1,000. Same bridge they're using on the Harley Benton on this one. It's pretty cool. I'm curious to see what the headstock looks like. How come they don't show any pictures of the headstock? Interesting. Why don't they have headstock pictures? Let's take a look at some other guitars, get a better idea. I'm not crazy about the headstock on these ones. Okay, let's see what, let's type in the, see if I can find it. Is this the one? Is that the one that you ordered? It's a nice looking guitar. Let's see the back of it. Looks sweet. Interesting headstock. Reminds me a little bit of Gumby, but still a nice guitar. Made in Nepal. Very interesting. Dual carbon fiber reinforced bolt-on mahogany neck. It has glow-in-the-dark side ducts. That's pretty cool too. Split coil, 3-way blade switch, bone nut. Very nice. $8.99. It's a pretty good deal. I like it. I'm not familiar with this brand, so it's all new to me. Very nice looking guitars. The prices look reasonable too. Very nice. Congratulations, man. I think you're gonna like it. That's pretty cool. That's not very nice. Clown face. Nah. You know, we get so familiar with the headstocks on some guitars that at the end we're kind of like stuck with the Strat headstock or the Gibson headstock or the PRS headstock in our mind, and anything else looks weird. I think you're gonna like it, man. At the end of the day, have you tried this guitar before you bought it, or you're just buying this sight unseen? Curious. Clay says he tried a shotgun for a Chipson. It was about 10 years old. She had a great bones, great looking, nice neck, but everything else had to go. New tuners, frets, pots, pickups. Yep. He traded, sorry, not tried. He traded a shotgun for a Chipson. The Chipsons that I've tried 3 or 4 of them, and they all needed a lot of work. So they look good, they look like guitars, but at the end of the day, you're basically rebuilding them. It's just the truth. I don't know if there's other sources for good Chipsons these days, and if you want to get something. But at the end of the day, if you're going to buy a Chipson or Harley Benton, you're better off just buying a Harley Benton, because the prices are almost the same. Harley Benton does, I think, offer a warranty, and at least they're doing some kind of quality control, you know, unless you really want to have the Gibson name on that headstock. Yeah, that's the big disadvantage when you're a lefty. You're definitely always buying stuff because they're hard to get, right? So you have no choice but to buy sight unseen. Give us a review once you get it. I'm really curious to see how you like it. Let's give Fat Philosopher a big thumbs up for his new guitar. It's always exciting when you have a cool guitar on the way. Kind of what George is saying is kind of true. You know, you're basically you can't really sell Chipsons, and if you do sell them, you have to really disclose that they're not real Gibsons, because then you could actually be accused of fraud. So The buying used is always better value at that price range. You're definitely right about that. Definitely right about that. I have no problems buying used. I actually recommend it. As long as you know what you're looking at and you can go and try the guitar to see if there's anything weird. Never buy a used guitar sight unseen. So, my advice for you today. What else I want to talk about? I want to talk about budget pickups because you guys know how I love to swap pickups on my guitars. And what time is it, by the way? Okay, we're getting there. Budget pickups. I've changed pickups in a lot of my guitars. As you can see, I still have the P90s that I pulled out of the Harley Benton. I have a set of Halen pickups coming in. These are humbuckers. Halen makes pickups for a lot of well-known guitarists, including the guitarist that's currently touring with David Lee Roth when he was doing his Vegas shows. An excellent guitarist, by the way. So I wanted to talk about some places that you can get budget pickups for good prices, because after trying a lot of pickups, it's really hit and miss when you're trying boutique pickups, because at the same time there's going to be things that that you like, that you can bond with, and the sound that you're looking for, and there's some that will be just like meh. I've tried Lawlers, for example. I bought a Strat that had Lawler pickups in it, and I took them out. I sold them. They really didn't do it for me. And a lot of people, freak over Lawler pickups, but those particular pickups are not what I was looking for. So I ended up swapping those out and putting something else in there. A lot of people like the Dragon Fire pickups. I haven't tried them yet. William is mentioning that. Fat Philosopher 2, he says they won't ship to Japan. There's a brand that I looked at recently. They're called Guitar Madness pickups. They're selling on eBay. There was a gentleman who did a shootout between Lawler pickups and the Guitar Madness pickups. There were classic pickups that he was trying out, and many people couldn't tell the difference. And actually, I listened to that review, and to me, either one would be fine. So, it's a question of spending $300 or $350 on boutique wound pickups and getting, Chinese-made pickups that will sound very, very similar for like $40. I'd like to try the $40 deal first, just to see whether or not you get what you want. I've been pleasantly surprised with budget pickups before. So some of the cool pickups that I would recommend you guys taking a look at if you're looking for budget pickups before you go crazy. Tone Rider makes some awesome pickups. They're out of Australia, I think. I love their single coil pickups, City Limits. I have them in a couple of my guitars, 2 or 3 of them. Great sounding single coil Strat pickups, in my opinion. Guitar Fetish, they have some cool things that you can look at there. I think I have a set, my vintage semi-hollow body 335 copy has a set of Guitar Fetish pickups that are loosely modeled as per the 57 Classics. Wilkinson make cool pickups, as I mentioned. Guitar Madness on eBay. Dragonfire, as you guys mentioned. Warman also makes some cool pickups as well. And also, like, if you're looking for pots, if you're looking for caps, for example, everybody likes to use orange drop caps in their guitars. You buy orange drops on eBay or anywhere else, you're going to get hammered. They're actually made by a company called Vishay, Vishay. They're exactly the same, and you'll get them for like a fifth of the cost. They're identical. So, don't go chasing mojo for no reason. Just try stuff out for yourself first, and sometimes you're really gonna come out on top. You know, Artec, which is Iron Gear. Iron Gear pickups are made by Artec, and they're rebranded. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of these pickups are made in the same factory and they're just branded differently. So try them out. I hear good things about Dragonfire single coil pickups. I haven't tried them in my Strats, but don't scoff at them, because sometimes they're good. I haven't tried. Which ones are you referring to? The Dylan Tuck Tones pickups? Does he have his own brand, or are these pickups that he's vlogged about? They're not all winners. You know, they're not all going to be winners. You definitely have to be selective and look at some of the reviews. You know, the stuff that, like, for example, the Golden Age pickups that Stu Mac is selling. These pickups are not cheap, and they're probably Chinese branded pickups anyways, right? Which ones did you try, George? Just curious. What brand was it? The Wolf Tone pickups I've heard of. And I think the Wolf Tones are not cheap, though. They're not budget pickups. In certain cases, boutique pickups will be exactly what you're looking for. There's another winder that I wanted to put into the mix that I almost forgot about. The website is called High Order Pickups. It's kind of a cheesy website that he has. It's very dated, but I'm going to just show you. Give me a second here. I'm giving you all my secrets here. Now, the thing with this guy, he makes really good quality, good sounding pickups. So let me just put it up here for you guys. So this guy, higherorderpickups.com, his website is like as old as it can be, but he knows what he's doing. And you have to contact him and ask him what you want. Now, he's got a lot of information on his website here, and he custom builds everything. So you tell him what sound you're after and he'll build it for you, okay? And this is the meat and potato section of his website, down at the bottom, where he talks about pickup recommendations, and he basically goes into detail about what makes different sounds. If you're looking for a brown sound, if you're looking for a classic 70s T-top sound, if you're looking for, whatever. And he'll basically wind them to your specs. If you tell him, look, I want to get a Jimmy Page tone, I want to get, a Santana tone. I want to get the brown sound. He can recommend what to go for. And he charges, the pickups are not cheap, but he hand winds them. They're $85 per pickup. With shipping, it comes to about $93 per pickup. All right, so you're still paying about $100 a pickup, but I guarantee you his pickups are great. I tried them and I really do like them. So if you're looking for something boutique, but you're not paying $175 per pickup, try them out. If you're looking for something specific. I've tried the Guitar Fetish pickups a couple of times. I think the Guitar Fetish stuff is kind of hit and miss. Though you have to really try a couple to really find out what you want. Sometimes you can go by the specs. You could go by the type of magnet that's in there, how hot the wind is, if it's scatter wound or not. You can definitely get in the ballpark, but sometimes you got to be selective. Go buy reviews if you can. Unfortunately, the big thing about these inexpensive pickups is that the people that are reviewing them, often the reviews are old. They don't have good quality equipment to record the sound and of the videos very well. So a lot of times the sound is garbage. You can't really tell how it sounds. I wish these companies would just like get somebody to make reviews for them and record them properly. They'd sell a whole lot more pickups that way. Which models did you try, George? Just curious. Did you end up keeping any of them, or you just didn't like any of them? So he's got Vox Guitars Rock says he's got some nice mean 90s in a Les Paul copy. I like the name. Are they like hotter? Why they call them mean 90s? I'm not a big fan of active pickups. I've tried a couple of active pickups, and to me they were kind of bland. You know? Active pickups to me are like a Cadillac. When you're like riding in a Cadillac, you're riding around and everything is kind of dampened. So you don't really get a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It's kind of flat. So I'm not a big fan of active pickups. So if he makes his own pickups, how much do they cost? I'm sure he's not making them. He's buying them somewhere, and he's just maybe reselling them. But I'm curious to see what is the price on those pickups. Do they get good reviews, and who's reviewing them? They were called Screamers. Okay, I think I know which one you're talking about. The Screamers. I think someone else that I recently watched was reviewing those pickups as well. I'm more a fan of the classic lower output pickups. Like I don't want to go beyond like the 8 or 9K. I find if we get above that, it becomes a little bit too much for me anyway. The StewMac pickups are good. The Golden Age pickups are built to the specs of the older ones, but they're not cheap. You know, for a couple bucks more, you can buy an original Gibson set used. Yeah, that's what I mean is you got to try a couple. You got to kiss a few frogs before you get the ones that you like. I had the same experience with the Tone Rider pickups. I tried a couple of different humbucker sets and I didn't really bond with them. The only one I really do like from Tone Rider right now are the City Limits pickups for the Strat. I can't really recommend the other ones because they're not my favorites. But that's just me, right? What I like in tone might not be what you like. I heard about those silver wire pickups that are selling for a fortune. I don't know. Again, mojo in my opinion. Save your money and buy other stuff. Buy other gear. So Corky Gat says I should buy Bill Lawrence pickups if I were venturing into high order territory. Yeah, maybe. The one thing I'm looking for, guys, maybe you guys can help me out. I have a couple of Telecasters and they all have Telecaster style pickups in them. and I was looking at, you know, the humbucker style pickups that come in a single coil enclosure, let's say space, with the blades. They used to be called hot rails back in the day, and I wanted to get a set and put in one of my Telecasters just for shits and giggles, just to see if I can get a different sound out of it. The only thing is that a lot of these cheaper brands that make these type of pickups, the actual blades on them are not long enough. So when you put them on the bridge specifically and it's at an angle, the blades are short. So the high and low E strings go past the blade of the magnet, and you have a substantial drop in volume. The only ones that I've seen that don't have this issue, they actually offset the top and bottom blade. But I haven't seen that in like cheap Chinese made knockoffs. If you guys know where I can get some like that, let me know. William says he's got a set of hot rodded humbuckers. Seymour Duncan for 145, and I like them. Kind of hot, but that's what I was going for. You can't really go wrong with Seymour Duncans. Unless you're way off in your selection and you choose something that, you know, by mistake. I would never pay $1,000 for a set of pickups. Never. No way. So if he can get that kind of money for his silver wire pickups, I hope he runs all the way to the bank. I don't know if Lace Sensor is still in business, to be honest with you. I've tried a lot of these, the ones that are in the Strats as well, that they claim are noiseless pickups. I also tried Area 51 pickups. Again, didn't like them. Give me the hum. You know, there's one thing I wanted to mention also, if you guys are dealing with hum and you're going with noiseless pickups because of it. There's another trick you can do. This is something that I learned, again, through messing around with guitars and whatnot. You can take your wiring on your Strat, and instead of going, you know, one volume, tone, you can actually do volume, tone, like a master tone for all of the pickups, and then the other tone you can make a blend knob. And what the blend knob will do is you can actually blend the sound between, let's say, the bridge pickup and the middle pickup, or the middle pickup and the neck pickup. And the cool thing is when you use the blend feature, anything below, let's say, 80%, the hum goes away, because the two pickups are working together and they're kind of working like humbuckers at that point. So you're blending the sound of the two pickups and they actually cancel the noise. So by doing a wiring scheme that way, you basically get rid of the noise and you still have the option of getting that Strat spank. As long as you dial up the blend knob all the way up, you keep the spank, and then you still have the ability to use one tone for all of the pickups. So it's an excellent way to go to get over that hurdle with noise with a Strat. The only thing I'm not sure of is whether or not it would work if you have a Strat with vintage style pickups where the center coil is not reverse wound. I have a Strat like that, so George says he likes the Duncan Custom 5. Now, is that Alnico 5 that they're using in there, and what do you like about it? What is the output on those pickups? Which blades are you using? Which ones did you use, Fat Philosopher? Give me a place that I can pick them up. Do you like them? Do you like the sound of them? Corky Cat says he's got a Seymour Duncan Little 59 bridge on one of my made in Mexico Strats. Warmer and less aggressive than the blades, and you can adjust each screw separately. That's another thing I was considering, but that's basically for Strats. I don't think they make them for Telecasters. If they do, let me know. I always thought they were just for Strats. It's not, I mean, it's just really to get something different in terms of sound, right? I don't necessarily want to, I'm not necessarily expecting to get a Telecaster sound out of these pickups. You know, I understand that it's going to be different, but I'm okay with that. So George says they are Alnico 5. Really versatile. Not sure what the output is. Probably somewhere from 10 to 14. That's pretty hot. 10 to 14. That's the upper limit for me, especially for a Telecaster, because I wouldn't want it to be too harsh. I don't mind hot bridge pickups. I don't mind the bridge pickups being hot. The neck pickup a little less so. That's the ones that I was talking about, the Seymour Hot Reels. That's the brand that I was looking for, but I think they're going to be mostly for Strats, I think. I don't think they ever made Hot Reels for Telecasters. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't tried a stacked P90, but it would make sense to have a stacked P90 because P90s are noisy, right? So eventually, if the noise becomes a big bother or issue for me, maybe I'll try those. But to be honest with you, I don't really care about the noise. It's not really the noise. It's just to be able to get a different sound out of one of the Telecasters that I have. You know, if I can get a fatter sound out of it, I just want to be able to do that. Wireless systems. I use both. I use wireless when I can. Sometimes when I play live when I jam with the boys, I go wireless, just so I don't trip over my wires all the time. I mentioned this a couple of times in my other videos. I also did some reviews. The ones that I really like right now that I find are very convenient are these guys here. They're made by Nuex. Comes in a nice little pouch like this. The cool thing about these is that the actual pouch, if you want to charge it, you can actually just plug in right at the edge of the pouch, and if you press the button here, you can see how much charge is left in the pouch. So the pouch actually charges up the unit. So you can see they're on right now. They're being charged up, and I think the battery in this could charge the unit up to 3 times. So if you take these and you throw them into your gig bag, you will always have a fully charged wireless unit, which is pretty cool, and they work really well. So take a look at those. They're called the B5RC 2.4 gigahertz wireless system from Nuex. Thanks for the link. I'll take a look at that. I appreciate it. William, take a look at them. They're actually very good. I'm very pleased with them. And I've tried a few other ones that are like less expensive wireless systems, and they don't necessarily always cut it. I have a full review on them, I think. Yeah, I do. I did a review on these guys. So if you want to check out the review, just go to my videos. I don't remember the price on them. I know they're not cheap. Here, let me find out. I'll type it in. They are on Amazon. You can buy them for let's see if they have them. Yeah, on Amazon they're 183 bucks Canadian. So they're not cheap, but they work well, and I like them. Yeah, go take a look at it. It's I think it'll answer a lot of your questions. A lot of people have asked about rondo music. And rondo music, I've only purchased a Strat style guitar once from them just to see what the quality was like. It wasn't super expensive. I ended up kind of relicking it, and actually the body, and I kept the neck for a while and just did some leveling experiments with it. They're great guitars for that as well. And actually I ended up, after I relicked the body, I ended up selling it and got most of my money back anyway. The thing is, you can't really relic those bodies because they have such thick poly on them that at the end of the day you can only chip the finish off of them. You won't be able to get that nice relic look, and I probably absorbed a ton of toxic airborne particles when I was sanding that thing down. Probably took 5 years off of my life. So if you're considering getting one of those rondo music guitars and relicking it, don't. Harley Benton Amarok is turning up tomorrow. Hurricane Moon, congratulations, man. I'm sure you're going to be glad that you're still locked up and you can be able to play that guitar for a while longer. Let us know how you like that guitar. And which one was it? Let me take a look at that. I think finding the stuff on the Harley Benton website is not always easy. I'm gonna have to it's always dangerous when I have these conversations with you guys, because you're gonna give me gas for something else and then I'm gonna have to spend more money. So which one did you get? I'm looking at the Flame Burst. The cool thing about these guitars is that let's take a look at the body close up. This is a 7-string guitar. I like the finish on the guitar. And it's a neck through. That's pretty nice, man. Neck through hardtail. 7 strings. I've only tried the 7-string guitar once, and it wasn't mine. And I couldn't. I just get 7-string guitars are not for me. I don't play that kind of music. But this is a sweet-looking guitar. 759 bucks. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. Is there anything else that you were considering beyond, going with the Harley Benton that's similar look and feel? Okay, so you're going with the 6-string one. That's cool. Okay, let me see if I can find the 6-string one. Black Flame Burst. Is it this one? Yeah, it must be this one. Flame Burst and 6-string. Must be that guy. Nice looking guitar. I like the way they carved the inside of the curves of the horns there. It's pretty cool. Very nice. Looks like a super well built guitar. Congratulations, man. I think you're gonna like it. My only concern whenever I go through, I look at a set neck guitar like that, is that you know, obviously it's not like a Strat. You can't change it if something happens. You can't like swap it out. So hopefully you won't have any issues with that neck. You shouldn't. £430 to England. I think it's going to be cool. EMG hot pickups. I'm taking you, I'm assuming you play pretty heavy music. Yeah, the Ibanez guitars, the newer ones, are just too expensive, man. Those Ibanez guitars should be maximum, in my opinion, this is Canadian dollars, 1,400 maybe. They're way, way higher than that. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, congratulations. Oh, man. I hate when that happens. What's wrong with her? Did you make enough for everybody? That's the real thing. I haven't really... I had coffee and a bagel for breakfast, so... You're lucky. You're a lucky man. Fat Philosopher has... He really is addicted to gear. I mean, he really deserves to be on this channel. You know, he's always on the prowl for something else, which is pretty cool. So somebody's Quirky Cat saying, why didn't you get the RG? Different body. Let's look at the RG. Actually, I don't know if I can find the RG, so I won't look at the RG, but it's always an option. Maybe go for the RG. So he's a blues rock man. Okay, I would have guessed through the type of guitar and the fact that it has EMG active pickups that you were playing something a little bit heavier than blues. But he does chug. It's good to leave your options open. Fat Philosopher, maybe, you know, Alan's saying, why is life so cruel? Maybe you did something bad. Karma. I believe in karma. I'm the same. I'm the same. I don't know what that is, but I'm telling you, it's addiction. It is gear addiction. It's funny, you know, you can get, no matter how good the guitar is, you're always looking for something else. I can't explain it. I think it's the hunter thing, you know? As guys, we're hardwired to be hunters. And no matter what you have, what you bring home in terms of the kill, you're always on the prowl for something else. But I do the same thing, man. Exactly what George is saying. Play for a while, sell it or keep it, or buy more. you know, I use the different guitars that I have as gauges. You know, when I bring something in, it has to play well with the pack, and that's my gauge. That's my measuring stick. You know, if it's below the quality of the guitars that I already have, then it goes and we get something else. If it's really above the quality and it's a great deal, then I bring in more, you know. But I definitely don't just keep guitars for the sake of keeping them. So Quirky Cat is talking about the RG. Let's take a look at the RG. Unfortunately, I can't copy and paste. RG 421. Okay, let's take a look at it. Okay. And I won't necessarily type in the exact model name, but 421. Okay, so the one I found is on Sweetwater. And we can zoom it in a little bit for you guys here. This is $299. Is that the one you're referring to? So this is a hardtail. Maybe that's why it's a little bit less expensive as well. I really do prefer hardtails. So Ibanez guitars are good. I mean, if you find the right one. Not right now. Not right now. You know what? I don't think so. I've had Ibanez models before. I don't mind them. It's just that, you know, I'm not really attracted by the Pia model or the price. The RG241 isn't that expensive. Okay, Quirky Cat really wants me to get the model, the exact model that he was talking about. So let me go back here. We're going to take a look. All right. Don't say I don't do anything for you, Quirky Cat. This is for you, man. So RG, let me just type it in, 421 HP, FM, Flame Maple, and BRG. All right. Give me a second. It's coming up. All right. Nice looking guitar, man. Here, let me share with you guys. Nice. So, here, let me just get this off. Blue Reef paint job. Looks really nice, man. That looks like a super nice paint job. Let's check out the back. Typical Ibanez in the back. I like the way the headstock is painted in the back, and it looks like it's a roasted maple neck. It looks pretty nice, actually. Very nice. Okay, here's the thing. How much? What's the price on this thing? Is there a price listed somewhere? Jatoba fretboard. So I guess it's a nice looking guitar. It's only 619 in the UK, so I guess that would be over $1,000 here in Canada. Coil tap switch, which is cool. Nice. Very nice looking guitar, man. I will have to keep my eyes open for that one on the used market, maybe. Did this model just come out? Is this a brand new model? Or is this an older model? Yeah, I definitely think that that could be on my radar when I spot one used, especially with a top like that. It's a very nice looking top. Damn you! You're giving me gas. Last thing I needed. If the nut is plastic, I mean it's probably graphite. They say plastic. It's probably like a Graphtec nut on that thing. No big deal to swap that out if you don't like it. I agree that the back could have been better matched with the rest of the guitar, right? They would probably be better off just painting the back black. Strat 5150 says it's $6.99 at Sweetwater. That's not bad. So that means you could probably end up picking up a guitar like this for, I'm guessing, $450, $500 used. Nice. That's a pretty good deal. Why would you buy the HB Fusion before the Ibanez? The Ibanez. I always say Ibanez. That's my Italian coming out. Ibanez. I would assume that the Ibanez is well built, just as good as a Harley Benton. I'm just wondering what the neck profile would be on this guitar. So these just came out. They're coming out soon, so I won't be able to get a used one of these for at least a year and a half, probably a year. If your wife's giving you the dirty eye, man, you know what you need to do. It's not easy, but you got to do what you got to do, man. So Alan says it's been around for a while. Well, Corky Cat just said that it's going to be available in June as a new model. Maybe the one that you're looking at is an older one. Fusion 2 Roasted Maple is a nice guitar for the Harley Bentons. I agree with you on that. The necks do look really nice. But even the one that doesn't have the roasted maple neck is still nice. I like the dark fingerboard. It's too bad they didn't come out with a roasted maple neck that had roasted maple in the back and like a nice dark rosewood style wood on the front. That would be pretty cool. Hurricane Moon says, almost got that, then Amarok's released. God damn it. You know what you have to do? Get both. Get one of each. And the plastic nuts are indeed no big deal if they're cut properly. Uh-oh. Did I just... There we go. Okay. Yeah, I agree. If there's a locking nut on it, it doesn't really make a difference. This one, the Ibanez doesn't have a locking nut, so yeah, it would make a difference. But as long as it's cut properly, no big deal. I'm gonna give you my wife's email, okay, Alan? You tell her that. Just like convince her, and if you can convince her, you're gonna be one of my best friends from now on in. Fat philosopher, stop tempting me, man. You know I'm weak. You first. A bit of pencil lead. I'm sure it'll be fine. Give us some feedback once you get it, all right? I'm curious. I'm sure the others are as well. All right, guys. Well, look, it's almost 12 o'clock, and it's time for us to wrap it up. I was only intending this to be an hour-long thing, but it looks like, as usual, I got the gift of gab, and it went longer than I expected. So definitely appreciate you guys tuning in today, and we'll have to continue this conversation on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. That's when we're going to have our next session. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in today. It's always a lot of fun. You definitely gave me a couple of things to look at and to consider. Now I have this damn Ibanez guitar on my radar. So it's okay. It's all part of the game, right? So guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys will join me again on Wednesday. If you guys want to support the channel, just, please subscribe to my channel. I always appreciate your feedback as well. If you're interested in helping the channel out financially, you can always grab some swag that's listed at the bottom of all my videos. Grab yourself a sticker, a t-shirt, whatever. And it's all down there. And in the meantime, like I always say, guys, stay tuned, keep rocking, stay safe. With this COVID stuff, please don't drink any bleach, no matter what the president says. And we'll resume on Wednesday. And keep your eyes open for the videos that are coming up, because there's going to be more great stuff coming right here on Addicted to Gear. All right? Take it easy, guys. See you soon.